Hey guys, here's my wrap up of our Bahamas trip we took. This is Junkanoo Beach. This is where you go for the public beach. If you come off the cruise ships, you'll go to your right as you come out of the port and keep going to the right. You'll go past Senior Frogs and go around the back past the Hilton, and you'll go to this public beach, Junkanoo Beach. And this is kind of, as you're coming up on the beach, this is what it looks like. I stole these pictures off the internet. I didn't take these. And I didn't have any live dig shots or anything from because the wind was blowing like 25 miles an hour. It was terrible. There wasn't no way I could video, so I just stole some pictures, and then I'll show you my finds here in a minute. This is looking from the public area. You see the pier back there in the background. I'll get another shot of showing those piers. This section here is where the main people gathered, and then they started spreading out towards those piers as it got full. But anyway, this is another shot showing you those piers and the different sections and the ships in the background. This place is loaded full of coins. Nobody detects this place. They can't. It's just way too many coins in there for that. And you'll see here in just a second when I show you my wrap up. Alright, here's my finds. Now, this is for about 4 hours I was there. And I forgot to really mention that the beach is at Nassau, in Nassau. So Senior Frogs and all that's there. Any of you that's ever done any cruising, you're probably familiar with that. And anyway, that's where it's at. We went to Freeport one time, and I didn't care for Freeport at all. But anyway, the Nassau, you can see the amount of change I found in 4 hours. And it's big coral pieces of rock coral in that sand, and it's hard digging. Boy, I tell you what, this is a lot of holes. This is a lot of work for 4 hours. I was steady getting it. But anyway, this is all the American zinc pennies. You can see they're really in great shape. We make a great coin, don't we? It holds up real well in the beach. So yeah, it's a piece of junk. None of them are worth hardly even keeping. They're terrible. All my clad, I cleaned it up real good. I used my lemon juice and stuff so I could at least show you that it was all clad. Most of it was, some of it was in pretty bad shape, but I figured out a pretty good way to clean it up. Here's some pieces of keys. I don't know what that is. There is a coin. I'm not sure. It's almost like a Spanish real replica, but in gold color. I didn't clean it up much, but that's kind of cool. I mean, I think it's probably just an old kid's toy or something that the kids was playing with. But it looks like a Spanish real. Anyway. It's in gold color, though. Anyway, that's pretty cool. And as far as others, get it in focus. A buckle. I'm not familiar with this. I tried to look it up, and I can't find anything about it, so I'm not sure. Land. I figured that's maybe a clothing company. I can't find anything. I found Land's End, but I don't know if that's anything to do with it or not. That's solid brass. That's cast. That's a expensive buckle to have made. I know a little bit about that stuff. And that's a nice buckle. That's expensive to have that made for your clothing apparel. But anyway, had a Carnival Cruise Line 25-cent token. Not sure what those were used for. I don't know if that's in the gambling. I didn't see any of those in there. Anyway, and then that's a 2-cent euro coin. You can't hardly see it. It's toasted. I did find it a Sacagawea from America. Sacagawea there. As far as my Bahama coins, that is their that's a 5-cent coin. 5-cent coin. It's got a little scalloped edge. That's your quarter. These are, if I'm not mistaken, these are 5-cent coins too, but a little older, I think. 5-cent coins. These are 1-cent coins, but they're all three of these that I found were 1966. All three of them. Now this is their cent. They've got coins like we do in the zincs, and they're a piece of junk. This is the size of our same penny, but then they've got some small ones here too. Some little smaller than a dime, little bitty pennies. So anyway, that's what I found. Let me give you a little story real quick. Didn't have no problem getting my detector on the boat. They went through all my luggage. They checked. You give them your luggage. Didn't have no problem with it going in. It was delivered to our room. Got my detector out, went to the beach, detected, come back on the ship. And when I did, had to, they have to everything has to go through a metal detector, and they saw my detector. I had it all broken down completely. My AT Pro had it in a backpack, and she wanted to see it. And of course, she wasn't from this country. 95% of the people that work on those cruise ships are from another country, and they can't speak very good English. And there again, I'm not being, that's not a racist comment. I'm just saying, if you're going to have somebody on there that needs to understand a little bit of English, a little bit more than what that one did. Anyway, then she wanted to look at my detector, and I showed her the detector, and she said she's going to confiscate it. And I said, well, I got on the ship with it. It said in the book that it was fine to bring a detector on. I've tried it before. And she called her supervisor, and they said they was going to confiscate it and give it to me back when I left. Well, I wasn't too happy about it, but I went ahead, and I didn't have much choice. And then when I went the last day when we was getting ready to leave, I went to where you get your stuff. If you get something confiscated, you go to a certain section and they give you stuff back. And didn't have I thought, well, there's no problem. I'll go get my stuff. Well, it wasn't there. Well, I was about to lose my mind. And she called her supervisor and said it was down at security. When I get ready to go off the ship, it'd be down there waiting on me. Because I was just about to lose my mind over that. Anyway, so come to find out, we went down to security, and it was down there as we got off the ship, and they gave it back to me. I had to sign a paper. It was no big deal. But here's the thing about it: we're going to write Carnival Cruise Lines and let them know in their book, on the internet, and on their books, it says that it's no problem to have a metal detector brought on the ship. Well, that's fine and dandy, but then when you get back on the ship, and say if I was to went to another port, if Nassau was not my only port, say if I was going to go to Freeport or another port, they'd have confiscated my metal detector, and I wouldn't have been able to use it. So that really, really ticked me off a little bit in a way. So I'm going to make sure next time that I'm going to have some printed documentation of their guidelines or of their book or something that shows, hey, I can bring this metal detector on here. And I asked the cruise director, talked to him about it, and it's kind of one of those things where it's like a TSA deal. It's all a separate deal, and he don't have any control over the security, which, there again, I don't know if they're just passing the buck, or, maybe that's true, I'm sure. But anyway, just be aware of that I didn't have a problem, but the last two cruises, I've took 2 other cruises and didn't have a problem. But this one I did for some reason. Anyway, I got everything back, and everything's good, and everything's, home sweet home. But it's just the fact that if I'd have went to another port, I would not have the place. I wouldn't have any way to detect. So just be aware of that. Kind of be prepared for that. I don't know if anybody else has ever had a problem like that, but I did. So anyway, guys, I appreciate you watching. And hopefully I've got a new toy. I've got an Explorer 2 that I'm really excited about. And I'm going to get it out and do some hunting, and I'll get some videos out with that as quick as I can. Alright, guys, appreciate you watching. Oh yeah, guys, I wanted to mention, and you could probably tell by looking, there is not a piece of jewelry on this table. This is all that I found, that other than crap, and junk that I threw away. There was not a one piece of jewelry. I didn't find a junk ring. I didn't find a stainless ring. I didn't find a titanium. Nothing. Now, it's not because that place has been picked over, because you can see if I'm digging all these targets, nickels, and all this stuff, I'm definitely in the gold range, and I was definitely digging up pull tabs and bottle caps, but there was not one piece of jewelry. Now, there again, I was just in the dry sand, but that is really weird. I really thought that was really odd that I found all this coins in 4 hours time and did not find one piece of jewelry. Anyway, just be prepared. If you go there, you might find a load of it, but I just did not. So, all right, guys, thanks.